welcome to Shift Happens, the podcast by the International Impact Forum. We're here today at the Monaco Yacht Club, where we're holding this year's International Impact Forum in Monaco. Today, I am joined by Karsten Hirsch from Plastik Fischer, and we talk about the amazing low-tech solutions they've come up with to stop plastic waste from entering the oceans by starting at the source, the rivers. Karsten, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to get to know you and your journey and what Plastik Fischer is all about. So maybe you can just share a little bit about the journey that brought you to this idea. Was it traveling? Was it a problem you encountered, or kind of like a come to Jesus moment that really shocked you? Yeah, just share a little bit about that if you would.
Yeah, all of the above. So thanks for having me. And the journey started around 7 years ago. I am a lawyer by background, and after finishing my law school, I went to Vietnam on a trip with two friends. It was for me the first time being in Asia. And we had an apartment near the Mekong River. And we could witness plastic flowing downstream of the Mekong 24/7. And for me, it was quite shocking because I grew up in Cologne near the Rhine, and it's a fairly clean river. Very clean river by now, actually. And we were all quite shocked seeing how much plastic was going down the river. And we knew that the delta and the ocean was just a few kilometers away, so nothing would stop this from entering the ocean. And then we did a little bit of research. I mean, we kept talking over the vacation, and we did a little bit of research and figured out there is no organization in the world focusing on rivers in order to stop ocean plastic pollution. And we only had one organization focusing on the oceans. So we thought, why don't we give that a try? Mm-hmm. And that's how it started.
Great. Yeah, I know about Ocean Cleanup. Maybe that's the one you also know, or is there another company? Yeah.
Yeah, they were back then more or less the only organization that was known, at least, that was committed to solve that issue. But we thought, why don't we
go
that?
To the source?
Yeah. And as we now know, closer to the source.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler alert, ocean plastic has to be solved on land, and rivers make more sense than the ocean. But yeah, that was our first step, saying, let's try to do it in rivers before it spreads and, dilutes in the endless oceans.
Yeah. And from that encounter in Vietnam to the founding of the company, what time frame are we looking at? How quickly did you turn this awareness into action?
So I think 4 weeks after the vacation, which was December 2018, we piloted our first idea in Germany, actually, and figured out it worked. I don't want to go into details. It was a water wheel that was collecting the plastic from the river. But motivated by that, because we just took a couple of euros and manufactured it in our own workshop. And we're not super talented engineers, but it worked, and that gave us so much motivation that we said, okay, we're gonna try it. So in April, 4 months after the vacation, we founded the company, and 2 months later, in June, I moved permanently to Indonesia to then test basically that technology and this approach in the real environment. And I lived at the Citarum River, which is one of the most polluted rivers in the world. And there, we tested the technology, figured out it doesn't work, developed a new one, figured out that worked. And since then we kept improving and scaling our operations. Yeah.
And from what I could tell from the Plastik Fischer website, you're currently focusing also on Asia. What countries are you present in Asia right now?
We're now in 8 cities in India and Indonesia, which is our focus, which are our focus countries. I was always, or for a long time, I was under the impression we have to work in all of the countries.
Yeah.
But then I had one very good conversation with someone that told me I was under the same impression, but then I figured out if I make really solid impact in just one country, that can have more impact than scattering your impact across million geographies. And we have very good traction and a very good momentum, especially in India, but also still in Indonesia. And therefore, this is where we focus for the moment, because there also we have quite a significant problem.
Yeah. And from your background in law to now founding this company, and what's your position in the company? Are you CEO?
Yeah.
Yeah. From being CEO in this company, are there any skills, hard or soft skills, that you feel like you can apply? Or was it just learning by doing, since it's a completely different subject?
Yeah, I think studying law is the most useless thing you can do. So
I don't think so. Human rights.
No, that's true. But the study itself is horrible. At least it wasn't for me. I mean, what I really learned from my studies was I can basically learn anything, even though I'm not interested or I'm not passionate about it. I can still, if I put myself behind it, I can learn it and figure it out. So a persistence and also, what is the word? I was looking before.
Well, I know tenacity, but that's kind of like persistence. So
no, just like this, getting up every day and doing it and getting it through. This. I don't know why I don't know this. It's a very basic word that I'm looking for. I was missing it.
It'll come to you.
It will come. No, I think think in a structured way, and just I think working hard is something you have to do in the law studies, and something I also still enjoy today, and now having a purpose in the work. That's really fulfilling. Yeah.
Great. Do you now still live in Indonesia, or are you back in?
I'm back in
Germany?
Cologne. I will have 2 kids in June, so my life is based out of Cologne, and I'm very happy about that. And my job is also in Germany. My job is to have podcasts for the European audience, maybe, or present on stages, like here at the IIF. And basically spread the word about our work that we do on the ground. And that's something that I realized during COVID. So I lived in Indonesia for around 7 months, and then I came back home thinking I'd just do a Christmas break. And then I planned to fly back in March 2020, but then the lockdown came and basically everything shifted. I was locked in Cologne and realized a little bit later, it can't be that I have to be on the ground to collect waste in a different country. It has to be solved with a much more local approach, and that's what we do today. We are 3 people in Germany and around 100 people in India and Indonesia working full time on that issue, and that makes us scalable. That it's not me being necessary in all the project locations in India and Indonesia. Yeah.
And the people working locally, are they, physically working, or also kind of like office work, or both?
The vast majority are people actually collecting waste from rivers. I mean, we do the entire supply chain. So we go to a city, we get all the permissions and paperwork, we manufacture the technology, we set it, we put it into the river, we set up sorting facilities, we then collect the plastic from our systems in the river, bring it to the sorting facility, segregate everything, and then transport it to the end of destination. And around 75% of our people in India and Indonesia are actually collecting and managing waste. And then we have engineers, project managers, partnerships manager, and hopefully a growing team on both sides. Yeah.
Great. I'm wondering, coming into, a different country, a different culture, were there any language and cultural barriers that you had to deal with? Was there resistance coming towards you because, you're a white male person, maybe coming in with like a savior complex, even though, of course, you want to contribute something good. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, what were the circumstances and maybe obstacles that you had to overcome to create a very fruitful collaboration with the local communities?
Yeah, so I I lived in Indonesia and I didn't live in Bali. I lived in Java Island, in Bandung. No one knows about Bandung. It's the third largest city in Indonesia. It's 4 hours from Jakarta. And there are no tourists. There is no one speaking English. And we were the only 2 white guys in Bandung. And no one spoke English, so I learned Bahasa Indonesia.
Wow.
It's a very simple language, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can you say a sentence for us?
Saya Karsten, 7 tahun lalu saya tinggal di Bandung, Indonesia, dan kerja di Sungai Citarum. So 7 years ago, I lived in Bandung and worked in the. I mean, I can only talk about the.
Project
about
stuff.
the plastic stuff, I can't talk
The
politics.
important things, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I could get along with people. And of course, first they thought we're just some white guys coming there, making pictures of the waste and going again.
Mm-hmm.
But we came back every day and we learned the language and we really integrated in the community and became part of it. So we got a lot of support and until today. And to address the white saviorism thing, which is fair enough, and I think we always were aware of. I mean, we really tried from the start also to do that with the local communities and develop that with them and learn from them. I mean, we know nothing about the country or the issue. I mean, until today, I learn about why is there waste. It's very complex. And the best thing we can do is give credits to the people that are actually doing the job and hiring local people.
Yeah, and you're also providing them with a tool that they can apply to benefit their community and environment.
Yeah, and that's really what we're working on, giving people from the informal waste sector decent jobs. And I mean, we have local directors of our Indian entity who are running the show, and without them, nothing will work. So it's not. Yeah. I mean, someone has to be the face of the organization, and I'm proud to do that. But I'm representing the work that the local people do, and I think that's it.
That's great.
I try that as good as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're facing global issues, and these are just ideas that. Or things people say, but if we really work together and have a shared interest, we share this planet. It doesn't matter too much where we're from, but it's important to, as you did, learn the language or learn the local culture and people so we can work together as best as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And have you been to Indonesia?
I've never been to Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to explore. I mean, I've not seen a lot, but I've only been to India and Indonesia. But it's definitely an experience.
I mean, I've been wanting to go, but it's just never happened yet. But in the future.
Yeah, let me know, and I'm happy to
give the local insights.
Ask our people to give you a tour.
I'd love to. In terms of the waste sorting, is there any training? Could I just go there and do it today? Like, is it very simple to differentiate from what I could tell? Your waste sorting into recyclable and non-recyclable. Or I'm sure there are more categories, but... No,
it's pretty much what we sort. I mean, if you think about Germany, what is being collected?
Cans. Well, cans.
Aluminum cans?
Plastic.
Bottles.
Wrappers. Glass bottles of different colors. Paper.
Exactly. And basically what we put into the reverse vending machines are more or less the recyclables. So PET bottles, glass, and aluminium. Then we have paper, of course. But that's pretty much what you can easily recycle. And all the rest you can more or less classify as non-recyclable. I mean, we have also the shampoo bottles and the bottle caps, which are PP and HDPE, that you can also segregate and recycle. But there was one big thing that I learned after moving to Indonesia, which was very crucial, was that our business model wouldn't work. Because I was under the impression in Germany that we would collect the plastic from the rivers and sell the PET bottles that we collect. Well, I moved there and figured out there are no PET bottles in the system.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we don't have the deposit system in Indonesia, but still, this is valuable material. And whenever you go to a country in the global south, you will see a lot of trucks going around the city with PET bottles on the back because it is a valuable material. So most of the plastic is already collected by the informal waste sector that can be recycled. So we are left with 95% non-recyclable material. So it will be very much possible for you to join us for segregating the waste, because you will pick the bottles, the cans, the glass, maybe the shampoo bottles, and that's it. And all of the rest, you cannot recycle that, especially not if it has been exposed to the environment for long.
Yeah.
So that goes to cement plants.
Okay.
And then this replaces virgin fossil fuels. So instead of coal, which is used as a fuel source, they basically use plastic, which was a virgin fossil fuel before, but has been processed, and they throw this into the chimney to incinerate it. And it doesn't sound super sexy, but it is actually the international best practice for how to utilize this material. It burns with a high temperature, and so most of the toxins are also incinerated, and we work with the national leaders in that space.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, there must be fumes that get released. Are there like filter systems in place, or what's the process there when the non-recyclables get incinerated?
We work, so we have countrywide contracts with the leading cement plants, which are, we sign a code of conduct where they say, okay, we process that in our cement plants according to these national standards. And that's the best thing you can do with that. And all the other alternatives, waste to energy plants or landfilling or the oceans, obviously is a worse alternative. So what we try to do is do it pragmatic, but as good as we can. And we actually pay quite a bit to incinerate it, even though we basically give them fuel. And what we also easily could do is throw it on the landfill. But we believe it is more responsible to treat it that way. And we're always eager to learn and also to change it if there is a better opportunity.
Yeah. So right now, what does your business model look like? So you make money off of selling the non-recyclables, but you're also paying to get it incinerated?
No, we're not selling the non-recyclables.
Okay.
We're paying
to get it incinerated.
We're paying to get it. We're paying to get it out, and we're paying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
No, we partner with brands that want to contribute to a cleaner world and to social and environmental impact. So we work with large companies like Allianz or SMEs that are selling backpacks or making pliers. Maybe some of the listeners know Kniepex. They make pliers, and they are a family-owned SME from Wuppertal. And they say we would like to do something for, as a contribution to clean oceans and to fair jobs in Asia. And they communicate this impact within their employees or within their company, and also externally on events, on LinkedIn, etc.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I would say we're still more a branding partner of organizations. Why unfortunately? Because there should be a necessity from someone to pay us to do the job. It's amazing that Allianz and Kniepex and many other organizations fund our work, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. But it should be the plastic producers paying us for the work and the governments. Yeah. But this is a really tough job to do.
Specifically, the companies, that produce the packaging, you can find the products in. Which I'm wondering, are there any kind of sorts of packaging or items that you collect most frequently? Like what's the bandwidth of what you find, and what do you find the most when collecting plastic from the rivers?
Literally anything. Okay. And not only plastic. We find also all sorts of things that can end up in rivers. Yeah. I'm considering going into details, but yeah, I mean, there are trees. Obviously, going in there, in India, we find dead cows, dead dogs, goats, pigs, rats, even humans. We found a couple of dead bodies in the systems.
Oh, wow.
So that's quite a tough job. You know, it's not only plastic we collect.
Yeah.
Luckily, the vast majority of material is waste, or I don't know if I want to say luckily, because this is a pity that we're trying to stop. But most of it are sachets, like these wrapper that you can open, and then there is some powder in it or some liquid. This is very much used, or very often used in Asia, especially, or at least I know it from Asia a lot. And it's horrible
fruit,
material,
right?
Sorry,
to sell fruit. Don't they
rather, if you know these instant noodles, for example.
Yeah, okay.
So you have a plastic wrapper on the outside, and if you open it, inside is aluminium. But it's not just aluminium and one layer of plastic. It's multi-layers of different plastics glued together. So it's impossible to get rid of this. And these we have in the size of I don't know what this is, 5 square centimeters and larger. We have a lot of straws. And we have a lot of plastic bags. So people throw their entire, what we call a waste bin, into the environment. And now is the important part, because we often hear, what about these people? We need to educate them. Where do you bring your waste if tomorrow the waste truck is not picking up yours?
Exactly. Yeah,
with all your education, with all your awareness, with all your willingness not to pollute the environment, you will end up in the same situation. We're the lucky people that are serviced on a weekly basis by a truck coming, picking up, and we don't even know where it's going. Most of the time, I would say, at least in Germany, it's going to a decent place to get managed well. But
sometimes it might be helpful to actually not be serviced and feel more responsibility, or see where things you use end up, I think. So we are even more educated on it and deal with our waste and what we throw away. Also food waste, I think, in a more conscious way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what needs to be changed. We need infrastructure in countries that lack waste management infrastructure. And that's what we do. We also service households. We provide them with bins. We service the households, collect them, and process the material in our sorting facilities. And this is how you large-scale and effectively stop ocean plastic pollution, by creating infrastructure and servicing households. And only if there is infrastructure, really the education helps, because just telling them don't throw it there,
or don't buy this.
What can they do? You know, so it's not stupid people; it's lack of infrastructure,
or also a lack of. It's not provided in any other different way. You know, if there's just plastic straws and no alternative, or only, various layers of plastic glued together where you get your noodles or food from, then you're not going to starve and not use that. You know, we need to also, I guess, like reinvent some packaging and just, I mean, in Europe, I feel like they're really working on paper-based packaging, but it has to expand. To the rest of the world.
There are some brilliant packaging that you can maybe sell here in Monaco, but we need it in
every
India,
country,
for example, and that's a different thing. If you want to roll it out for 1 billion people, then it would have a big impact also.
Yeah. I read online on your website there's the trash boom, but you also have trash boom, but you also have
barrier that we deploy.
You also have like 2 further setups. Maybe you could, if you want to, talk a little about their differences and what purpose they serve.
So the purpose is always the same: stop plastic from flowing downstream, but every river is different. So we came up with different low-tech solutions. So at some point we defined ourselves as the 3L initiative, maybe 3R, reduce, reuse, recycle. And we thought, okay, for us, it's low tech, which is the opposite of high tech, local, because it's locally built and operated by locals. And it's low cost, which is the result of that.
Yeah.
And our operations and our technology follow that 3L principle, so that we
I love
always...
that.
Thank you. Me too. It's very efficient and saves a lot of cost, time, and energy, and emissions. And with this, we don't need to ship anything from A to B, and that's how we always build our technology and operations. Sometimes we can walk on it, sometimes it is static, sometimes it floats, but it's always simple.
And so because it's simple, local, low cost, all the materials used to build it can be found anywhere, basically.
Yeah, and that's why you can also repair it. And because it's built by locals, they can also repair it.
Yeah.
If you send something from some Porsche engineering there and then something gets loose, send an engineer from wherever they are based, and that doesn't make any sense.
And you just said every river is different, so needs a little bit of a different contraption. I'm guessing, you also need them to be adaptable. Who or what resources do you use to adapt your original model kind of to that local river? Is it with engineers or,
Yeah, I was in the very lucky situation that I made a brilliant hire of a person that was for 10 years in the Navy as a lead engineer for designing ships. And he traveled to India and realized there is a lot of plastic around. And he applied for a job when I was hiring a CTO job. And luckiest person to hire Aviel, who's leading our engineering since then. And now we have a few engineers, and we have... it's a simple technology also, so a lot of people can contribute. Even me, I'm joining regularly meetings where I give my input, how I think the technology could be improved, because we started with a simple idea and it worked so well that it was adapted across the world. And I believe it, sometimes needs common sense. So,
it can be very simple, low tech.
Exactly.
I'm a fan of low tech in general. I do think there are more solutions out there that we don't use because they might be too simple. I think there's a lot of indigenous knowledge we could draw from. They've protected and lived in their environments for centuries and were stewards of their land. And I think today we approach climate or impact and sustainability from such a high-tech standpoint, and sometimes we have to just support nature instead of trying to force something on it. And I don't know, I'd love to see more approaches like that.
Yeah, well, one of the issues is not sure if people now switch off, if they haven't by now, but is the VC environment.
Yeah.
VC loves high tech. Sometimes if you want to create, things that work, you don't need high tech, but it sells better because it looks fancy. You can
There's some
protect
innovation.
it with patents and things like that. But it's not always the best thing to do if you really want to solve an issue, and we're trying to solve a global issue. I'm also not saying you can capture carbon in a low-tech way. I don't believe that. But when we talk about plastic, we have proven that it goes in a very simple way, and that you don't need spectacular things to... You can actually throw in a piece of bamboo, and it will also stop a decent amount of plastic, and it costs nothing.
I'm wondering in terms of so you have people contributing to your company for brand partnerships, as you said, but there's also a big interest, I think, in like post-consumer recyclable products and upcycling of plastic waste into clothes or bags. Is that a market you're tapping into or can see yourself servicing, or not?
Kind of. The issue is we always collect what's thrown in upstream, and the quality and quantity of material always changes. That's why we are not a good feedstock provider for someone that wants to do a large, sell something at large scale, because they need consistency in their feedstock. We are exploring recycling, but it won't be sufficiently fund our operations.
Yeah.
We will always need external funding that should prospectively come from the governments and the plastic producing industry. Yeah.
Great.
But that's a long way wide. And until then, I hope a lot of brands reach out to me and contribute to good impact.
Absolutely. Do you feel like your relationship to plastic has changed through your work over the last 7 years?
Yeah, 100%. I didn't have a relationship to plastic. I was not like living plastic free before or something like this. You know, we saw an issue and since then I'm a bit haunted and there's plastic everywhere. And absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
How does that look like in your everyday life?
Yeah, I'm not the saint, you know. I'm not.
No one is. Yeah.
It's impossible for me. It is impossible to live plastic free. It's also very expensive to do that. But of course I try to minimize the use. I mean, there are simple things we probably in Germany nearly all of us have adopted, like reusable bottles, reusable bags, things like that can be simple. I try to reduce my footprint as good as I can. And I think if everyone would do a little bit, we would be in a way better position. It's not needed that I do the 100% and scream at everyone to do the same. But if everyone would reduce 5 to 10% of their consumption, I think we would be in a much better space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also think, again, like where there's demand, you know, they will supply. So, for example, like pasta packaging now is more in paper bags or packaging as well. Chocolate is in paper. I mean, not all of the brands, not the legacy brands haven't adopted it, but the new ones that are coming onto the scene, I feel like are really making a difference there. And for me, I don't live plastic free either, but I try my best.
Yeah.
I was pursuing it more narrowly and strongly for a while, but now not as much anymore. But I also think when you have like a little gadget or, you know, a product that you switched up, like I use, instead of the Ziploc bags, I have little silicone bags to freeze things in, or when I travel in the airport with, and it's also fun, you know, it's like something you feel good about, and it's an easy swap that you can make and makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it feels good to do something good. And I think this is also why brands work with us, because they see the results and we don't bullshit them and we can prove it. And that's a story that everyone loves, that the employees love, that the people that initiated the partnership love. And that's why I can still do my job, because it has so much purpose. We give people jobs that wouldn't have a job without us, that send their kids to school, that buy their first trash bin with the age of 60. And I think this, you know, doing something good I try to do one good thing a day. I mean, I don't chase that. Yeah. But if an opportunity arises, I try to, I don't know, whatever, do someone a favor or something like this. Yeah. And it feels good. So I think the silicone bag is a good example of that.
That's a great habit to establish. My family always does. At the end of the day, like, what are you grateful for? So we say what we're grateful for. And I think that's also another great like mindset habit to establish, to just do something good in your everyday life. Doesn't have to be a big gesture, but something small matters too.
Yeah. There are weeks where nothing like that happens, maybe because I'm only in the home office, but I mean,
you can do something good for your family too.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah. I think I do that.
Great. Looking forward, what are your goals with Plastik Fischer?
Like all the startups, we want to grow, we want to scale. But I think especially for impact startups, scale is incredibly important. And we're addressing one of the world's largest problems. So we really need to grow if we want to have a significant impact on that problem. And that's what we try to do. We want to grow into the 10 most polluted rivers in India until the end of 2030. We call it our Plastik Fischer Mission 2030, to set up 10 more locations along the most polluted rivers in India. This is a very much achievable goal. We need basically 10 sponsors that say we are financing one location. And that's kind of the short-term goal. And the bigger picture is, of course, scale into other countries, do replicate that, find a way to replicate that, maybe not also only within our own organization. So I think we already inspired others. We had this, we gave the construction plans of our initial technology for free in the internet. So that was replicated across the world. And with this, we try to, stop ocean plastic pollution at scale.
Another question just came to mind. I was wondering, have you already seen like a return of biodiversity maybe in the rivers you collect the plastic, or is that not something you can really count or is visible yet?
Yeah, I love this question because that's why we do it, right? We founded the company not to stop plastic, but to protect biodiversity. This was the goal of the three of us, because we all have somehow are attracted to oceans and fish, and that's why we founded the company.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, tracking biodiversity is impossible, and it's not impossible, but it's in our case not possible. And knowing what positive impacts we would have for stopping 3 million kilograms of plastic going to the ocean is just nothing that we can prove, and that's why we don't communicate it.
Yeah.
But one good example is my hometown, Cologne. There is the Rhine River. It was called the sewage of Europe. It was one of the most polluted rivers in Europe.
Okay.
And then it was protected, and they had a mission to clean up this river. And now the salmon is coming back into the Rhine, which is one of the most sensitive fish species to water. And that shows that biodiversity can very well recover. And if the measurements are taken, a river can be clean again, even though it was a very dirty environment before. So I have the hope that if the right measurements are taken and we are contributing to that biodiversity can come back.
Yeah. Do you know, could there be like some partners that you collaborate with in such a pursuit, or is that not on the horizon?
Yeah, of course. We are only one piece of the puzzle, and we need many to work with us on that. And I would love to do so many more things, but funding is always the limiting factor. And if I have all the money in the world, I get all the partners on, and then we do biodiversity, then we do education, then we do infrastructure, all of that.
Yeah.
But we're not in this position, unfortunately.
Yeah. How's that funding journey for you? Does it feel just like knocking on different doors? Is it through introductions? How do you acquire most of your partners?
On events, most of the time. And meeting people. People see us speak or bump onto our website. We also do the outreach. Obviously, people follow me on LinkedIn and videos that we post on our social medias. But it's not super easy, but I think we're in a decent spot.
Great.
Yeah.
So maybe to latch on to that, where can people find you? Where can people find Plastic Fisher to follow and support your great cause? Shout yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, we're there. So in the internet and the World Wide Web, we are, Plastic Fisher is the company name. Plastic with C, Fisher as well. And we're on all the social media platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm responding. So if you reach out to me, I will get back to you. And I think we have great videos, by the way. They only get a couple of 100 clicks on YouTube because we don't know how to play the game. But I think if you really want to see what we do, go on YouTube and check out some of our videos.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. And
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.